may or may not have gone a little bit mental in charity shops again, even though I told myself I was on a book ban. Can see how the book ban's going. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I got an exciting one. Well, I think it's exciting anyway, because you know that I love a charity shop book haul. And boy, do I have one for you. In July, I decided to put myself on a book buying ban. This was because your girl wants to get a house by the end of the year. Don't get me wrong, I save money anyway, but I wanted to be able to save like a little bit more money. I've not included pre-orders, I've not included book boxes, and as you will see, I've not included charity shops. And thought, you know what, I'll have like a little look in the charity shops, just a little look. Alas, I came back with more books than I expected to. But all of the books that I did purchase last weekend came to under £10, I think, which is basically the price of like a new release paperback. So this is why I love a charity book shop book haul. Back in, I think it was May, because it was around the May bank holiday, I popped into town and I did a big charity bookshop haul. And that is in my May bank holiday video. I thought I'll show you the books that I got in that book haul first. I won't really talk about them because I talk about them in a lot more detail in that original video. So if you do want to hear more about these books, I will leave a link in the description. I'll chat you through all the books that I got in May from the charity shops first. So the first one is Dorothy Must Die, and this is like a sci-fi retelling of The Wizard of Oz. I think it is a series. It's one that I've been fancying for a long time, and when I saw it in the charity shop I picked it up straight away. I think it was only about 50p, if that. Quite a few of these were already on my to buy list as well, and it's just the best when you can get them for a bargain and when you give the money to charity as well. I just love it. So the next one is Witch of Willow Hall. This is another one that was on my to buy list for ages. I remember when HQ first released this and it was sort of sent out to bloggers to see who wanted to read it, and I was super busy at the time, so I said no, but I'm glad to be finally getting around to reading it. And then the next one is Steve Kavanagh's Twisted. Can't wait to dive into this. I really hope to get around to this by the end of the year, and I do have another one of his books that I managed to find in my latest charity bookshop haul as well. So the next book is another one that was on my to buy list, and it's Pine, and I don't really know an awful lot about this book other than the fact that it is like a horror slash thriller book. It's really popular on Bookstagram, and as soon as I saw it I was like, oh, gotta pick that up because I've never seen it in a charity shop before. Then the next two books, shock horror, two Hobbits. I'm collecting copies of the Hobbits basically. I can blame Library of Carys for this because she loves the Hobbit as well, and I remember her saying that she owned like 15 or 20 or something copies of the Hobbit, and I was like, oh my god, why don't I own more copies of the Hobbit? So every time I've gone into a charity shop since, I've picked up copies of the Hobbit. Now I've got 10 in my collection. The next one is The Armageddon Rag, and this is by George R.R. Martin, and I will be honest, I didn't realise that George R.R. Martin had any other books other than the Game of Thrones series, and I think this was written before the Game of Thrones series, and it's not too long either for a George R.R. Martin book. It does have an eye on it which looks a lot like Lord of the Rings, and there's Nazgul in there as well, so I don't know how much sort of inspiration he's taken from Lord of the Rings, but it'll be interesting to see what that's like. And then the next one, I don't really know why I picked it up, but I thought it was super cute, and it's basically like letters of notes and it's about cats, and it's just like a compilation of loads of different authors writing about cats, and I just think that's so wholesome. The second to last one is Username Evie, and this is by Joe Sugg, and if you don't know who Joe Sugg is, he's like a YouTuber. I always used to watch him back in the day. I've got into graphic novels recently, so I saw this one and it was only like £1, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna pick it up, see if it's any good, because YouTubers don't really have a track record of having good books, let's be honest. So it's going to be interesting to see if it's any good or not. The graphics look really good, so be interesting. Then the last book is All About McBusted, and this is an unauthorized, so I don't think it's like an official book or anything, and it's basically about McBusted and they rise to fame again. In all honesty, I'm a big McFly, a big McBusted, a big Busted fan, so the likelihood is I'm probably going to know the majority of what's in here, but I'm interested to see what it has to say. Anyway, those are all the books that I picked up when I went to the charity shop in May, and now I'll show you the books that my boyfriend's father really kindly picked up for me. So he knows that I love Stephen King books, and he knows that I'm collecting them, so anytime he spots a Stephen King book in a charity shop, he'll always like either message me, either message my boyfriend, or just pick one up for me. So he managed to find 3 Stephen King books for me, and I don't know how he does it, because I've been looking in the charity shops and I've been like trawling through every single one in my town. Have I found a Stephen King book? No. He picked me up The Shining, and I think this is my 4th edition of The Shining, but who cares? When you're a collector, collecting books and reading books, 2 different hobbies. So yeah, really happy with that. This is a fairly new edition, and I think this was like £1 or £2. Then the next one is Desperation, and this is a paperback, but it is the size of a hardback. I think it's like an American style paperback. I love these ones. I think this is my 3rd copy of Desperation, because I've got one of the cool covers and then one in the Rainbow Hotter collection too. And then finally we have Dreamcatcher, and this is a hardback. This is my 2nd copy of Dreamcatcher, so super happy with those. And then following on from books that I was given, if you saw my special book haul back in sort of April, May time, she found a couple more books, and they were As You Like It by William Shakespeare. Now, I'm not a massive Shakespeare fan. I know, am I a fake like lover of books? Maybe, but I really like this cover, and I would like to read some more of his plays. The next one is Milton's Paradise Lost, and this is like a proper old edition. I've always wanted to read Paradise Lost. I know it's not meant to be like the easiest book to read, but it'd be really interesting. I mean, we read like snippets of it when we were in uni, but we didn't really focus in on it in much detail. The last one I picked up was Prophecy of the Sisters. I've never heard about it before, but from reading the back, it basically sounds like there's like, it's about prophecy, obviously because it says prophecy, but I think it's going to be quite creepy. I don't know whether it's like horror or class as thriller, but it sounded interesting, so I was like, you know what? I will have that, thank you very much. Now we're on to the books that I picked up in the charity shop last weekend. There are 4 books as well that I did pick up in the works. I'm going to include those in here anyway. As I already said, I picked up another Steve Kavanagh book, and that was 50/50, and this is about 2 sisters that are on trial, and I think one of them is guilty and one of them isn't, and it's sort of like up to the jury / reader to figure out who's lying, who isn't, and I think there's going to be a lot of twists, a lot of turns, so I'm excited to get around to this one. The next one that I picked up was The Last Werewolf. When I went into the first charity shop, I was like, I'm not picking up any books. No, I've said that I'm not going to. Then I saw this one and I was like, oh, how much was it? 99p. It's like, oh, this sounds quite good. Maybe I'll have to pick up this one. To be honest, I picked it up because it says on the back, like an updated version of Dracula, only for werewolves. If this is going to be a werewolf version, I'm all in. Sign me up. Funny because the werewolf is called Jacob. This is giving me Twilight vibes. And in the same charity shop, I picked up The Humans by Matt Haig. I think this is about like an alien that lives inside the dog. I'm not really sure, but it sounded interesting. Although I do think Matt Haig has come out recently and said a few things that I don't necessarily agree with. I picked up Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, and this is one that I've not actually read before. I love the film, and I thought this was a really cool edition, and it was only like 50p. And then the next 3 are children's books, and I'll show them all together, and they were in like 3 for £1, and I was like, oh, gotta pick them up. So the first one is the BFG. The second one is James and the Giant Peach, and then the third one is Matilda. It is low-key annoying me that Matilda's slightly taller. I really love like having older copies of books. I mean, they're not in the greatest condition or anything, but I love the BFG. James and Giant Peach always used to freak me out with that like rhino in the sky. And Matilda, interestingly, is not my favourite Roald Dahl book, even though it is everybody's favourite. I think it's the BFG or The Witches or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's my favourite. But yeah, super happy with those ones. The next 2 that I picked up are both from the same series. So we've got Skullduggery Pleasant, and then we've got Skullduggery Pleasant Dark Day. I picked these up because I picked up a Skullduggery Pleasant book a couple of months ago. This is the lost ones, the dark ones, something like that. Didn't quite realise there was a 4th book in the series though, which is really annoying. So when I saw that there was like the first 2, I was like, oh, you know what, well, I may as well pick them up, because otherwise I'm never going to be able to read the 4th one because I've not read the other 3. So yeah, these sound interesting. Don't really know like an awful lot about them, but I do like the covers, so that's the next ones that I bought. And then this one might shock you that I've never actually purchased before, or that I don't own, and it is The Host by Stephanie Meyer. And I don't think I've ever seen like a sort of American style paperback version, because this is a larger one, and I don't even think I know what this is about, in all honesty. This is like unintentionally a bit of a James Herbert haul, and I've not read James Herbert before, but I know that he's a really like popular horror author. I've seen a lot of people on Bookstagram like rave about his books, and I was like, you know what, I feel like I need to jump on this hype, because the likelihood is I'm probably going to really enjoy his books. When I saw this in the charity shop, I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to pick it up. This one is Creed by James Herbert, and I love this copy. This was the most expensive one that I picked up, and it was £1.99, but I mean £1.99 for a book. You can't go wrong. I really hope that it's a standalone. I'm not entirely sure though. This sounds so messed up and is everything that I'd want in a book. I know that sounds really weird, but after the funeral ceremony of a major Hollywood actress, he photographs a man of ravaged appearance desecrating the grave. It says about like demons, and then like there's demons in like an old people's home. In the works, I noticed that they had a few of his The Rats series, so I picked them up. So I've got The Rats, which is the first one, and then we've got Leia, I can never pronounce that right, Leia, which I think might be the second one, and then Domain, that I think is the third one, but I might have got those 2 muddled up. Don't really know an awful lot about the Rat series, other than the fact that there's like a virus and rats, and I don't know. But it sounds intriguing, and I've heard great things. Last but not least, we have The Whisper Man, and this is by Alex North. And I recently read Shadow Friend, I think it might be The Shadow Friend, and I love that book. I think I read about 3/4 of it all in one night, and it's a fairly hefty book. I think it was around like 400 pages, which is hefty for me, and I just could not stop thinking about it. So that's when you know it's like a sign of a good book. That was all of the books that I purchased in the charity shop over the last couple of months. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've read any of these books, let me know. Also let me know, do you like shopping in charity shops? Because I know it's not for everybody, but like I love myself a bargain. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you do want to consider subscribing, if you're not already subscribed, that would be super lovely. You can join this little bookish corner of the internet. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!